If this book has found you, it is because something higher has already chosen this moment for you. Within the power of divine energy flows a sacred force that reveals itself only to those prepared to receive it. As you listen, you may feel it awakening within you, as if this was divinely arranged long before you arrived here. Power of divine energy. Introduction. The universe whispers through your very breath, an eternal dance of connection that transcends the boundaries of flesh and thought. You are not separate from the divine current. You are the current itself, moving and breathing with infinite intelligence. Imagine divine energy as a luminous river flowing through every cell of your being. It is not something you must acquire, but something you already are. When you pause and listen, you can feel its gentle pulse, a rhythm older than time, more intimate than thought. This sacred energy moves through you like liquid light, connecting you to every living thing. It is not distant or abstract, but immediate and alive. Each heartbeat is a conversation with the cosmos, each breath a sacred exchange between your individual consciousness and the greater whole. Your thoughts are not mere mental constructs, but creative frequencies that shape reality. Every feeling is a signal sent into the universal field, every intention a seed planted in the fertile ground of potential. You are continuously communicating with the infinite, whether you recognize it or not. The divine does not judge or withhold. It simply responds, mirrors, and amplifies. Your inner landscape, your beliefs, your emotions, your silent wonderings, becomes the canvas upon which miraculous experiences are painted. When you align with this understanding, synchronicities bloom like unexpected flowers. Guidance appears not as external instruction, but as an intuitive knowing that rises from within. You become both the question and the answer, the seeker and the sought. Your soul knows this language of energy. It remembers its connection to the vast, interconnected web of existence. You are never truly alone, never truly separate. You are a unique expression of an infinite, loving intelligence that breathes itself into form through you. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Gentle Awakening of the Soul. Chapter 1. The Spark That Found You. You stand at the threshold of discovery, where seemingly random moments reveal themselves as carefully orchestrated invitations from the universe. In the hushed sanctuary of an old library, Lula Jane Bennett's fingers trace the spine of an ancient tome, her touch awakening something beyond mere physical contact. As she opened the book, something extraordinary happened. Light, not metaphorical, but an actual luminescence, seemed to lift from the page, a radiant confirmation that no encounter is truly accidental. The universe communicates through such subtle miracles, waiting for those attentive enough to recognize its language. Divine energy, you learn, is not a distant force, but a responsive presence. It meets you precisely at the moment your heart opens genuinely, like a lover responding to a tender invitation. This energy does not demand grand gestures or thunderous proclamations, but responds to the gentlest, sincere intention. Perry Lee Collins understood this profound truth. His prayers were not loud declarations, but intimate whispers, as though speaking to a beloved companion. In this tenderness, he discovered a radical understanding, Love is the true medium of communication with the divine. His serenity became an open channel, transforming prayer from a demand into a conversation. Each coincidence, you realize, is an invitation. Every longing is a sacred message returning home, a signal sent from your soul's deepest knowing. The universe listens not to the volume of your voice, but to the authenticity of your heart's frequency. This understanding shifts everything. You are not separate from the divine intelligence that breathes life into existence. You are its living expression, its ongoing conversation with itself. Your desires, your fears, your hopes, they are all threads in an intricate tapestry of cosmic communication. The practice continues as a soft dialogue with life itself. Place your hand upon your heart at night and say, "Beloved, thank you for finding me," imagining divine energy smiling through your chest. Chapter 2. The Call Within the Stillness. You stand at the threshold of understanding, where the whispers of the universe converge with the quiet landscape of your inner world. Maggie May Porter discovered a truth that would reshape your perception. Divine communication is not a thunderous proclamation, but a gentle breath of wisdom that emerges when you surrender your demanding thoughts. In her moments of stillness, Maggie learned that pleading with the celestial realm creates noise, a static that obscures the delicate transmissions of intuition. When she ceased her urgent petitions and simply breathed, insights began to drift into her consciousness like soft clouds across an expansive sky. This sacred principle reveals itself slowly. The divine speaks not through force, but through the subtle language of calm. Your mind, when quiet, becomes a pristine receiver of cosmic guidance. Like a tranquil lake reflecting the stars, your inner silence becomes the perfect mirror for universal wisdom. Consider the journey of Enoch-Dale Rivers, who once sat beneath an ancient tree, weighted by despair. In that moment of complete surrender, a transformative phrase emerged from the silence, not as a loud proclamation, but as a gentle whisper that realigned his entire existence. His experience illuminates a fundamental truth. Intuition is the sacred dialect through which divine energy communicates. The universe does not demand, it invites. It does not command, it suggests. When you release the need to control every outcome and instead create space for listening, miraculous insights can emerge. Your inner stillness becomes the sacred ground where spiritual revelations take root. This is not about forcing understanding, but about creating receptivity. Imagine your consciousness as a delicate instrument, finely tuned to receive transmissions from a realm beyond physical perception. The more you cultivate inner quiet, the clearer these transmissions become. Practice. The practice flows in sitting still each morning with eyes closed, sensing breath as divine pulse and allowing silence to kiss your awareness awake. Settle into a comfortable position, spine aligned, hands resting gently. Close your eyes and turn your attention to your breath, not controlling it, but simply witnessing its natural rhythm. Feel each inhale as a gentle invitation from the universe, each exhale a soft release of everything unnecessary. Allow silence to embrace you, letting intuition speak in its wordless language. Chapter 3. The Dance of Faith. You stand at the threshold of transformation, where stillness whispers and faith becomes your most potent ally. Clara Rose Whitaker understood this sacred truth before many. Her journey revealed that divine guidance does not demand loud proclamations or grandiose gestures, but subtle, courageous steps taken with unwavering trust. Clara had long yearned for direction, her heart heavy with uncertainty. Yet something shifted when she ceased pleading and began acting as though her prayers were already answered. She moved with a quiet confidence, her actions synchronized with an unseen rhythm, a divine choreography that guided her movements. The universe does not respond to desperate calls, but to harmonious alignment. When you trust deeply, when you move forward with the gentle certainty that you are supported, miraculous pathways emerge. Clara's small, bold steps became her prayer, each movement a testament to her faith. Consider Alton Ray Hendricks, who wandered into an unfamiliar city without a predetermined plan, carrying nothing but steady joy and open expectation. Where others might have seen risk, he perceived opportunity. Support materialized at every turn, as though destiny itself walked beside him, opening doors and smoothing paths. These stories illuminate a profound teaching. Faith is not passive waiting, but active participation. You magnetize support through your inner conviction. Divine energy responds to courage, not the thunderous bravery of epic tales, but the quiet, persistent courage of taking one step, then another, with trust as your companion. Your belief creates corridors where previously there were walls. Your trust generates bridges across seemingly impossible distances. When you move with the understanding that you are fundamentally supported, synchronicities bloom around you like unexpected flowers. The universe speaks in the language of trust, whispering through intuition, guiding through gentle nudges. Your job is not to control every outcome, but to listen, to trust, and to move in harmony with the unseen currents that perpetually support your highest unfolding. Practice by stepping forward with confidence in one area you've delayed, feeling invisible arms guiding your movement. Chapter 4. The Light Between Hearts. The unseen threads that connect human hearts run deeper than any physical pathway. You are never truly a stranger to another soul. You are merely awaiting recognition. When Effie Lou Harmon walked into the small cafe that autumn morning, she felt something extraordinary stirring beneath the ordinary surface of reality. The strangers around her were not random encounters, but carefully orchestrated meetings designed by a wisdom far greater than human perception. Each person who crossed her path carried an energetic signature, a vibrational frequency that spoke volumes before a single word was exchanged. Some souls felt immediately familiar, as though you had known them across countless lifetimes. This is not coincidence, but cosmic choreography. The universe arranges meetings with exquisite precision. Every interaction is an opportunity for spiritual exchange, for mutual recognition of the divine spark residing within each being. Your encounters are never accidental. They are intentional invitations to deeper understanding. Truman Earl McCoy's story illuminates this profound truth. When he chose forgiveness toward someone who had wronged him, he did more than release personal grievance. He reopened sacred energetic pathways. Forgiveness acts as a spiritual solvent, dissolving barriers and allowing divine grace to flow freely. Your connections are not merely human interactions, but cosmic conversations. Each meeting is a mirror reflecting back aspects of yourself, offering opportunities for growth, healing, and remembrance of your interconnected nature. The spiritual laws governing these exchanges transcend logical understanding. They operate through frequency, through the subtle language of energy that resonates beyond words. Your heart knows these truths long before your mind can comprehend them. Practice by silently sending soft light to everyone you meet today, letting your heart converse without language. Chapter 5. The Garden of Gratitude. You stand at the threshold of understanding a most sacred universal principle. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture, but a potent alchemical force that transforms reality itself. When Nora June Abbott tended her garden, she did more than nurture flowers. She cultivated miracles. Each morning, Nora would walk among her blooming roses and lavender, her whispers of thanksgiving carried on the gentle breeze. "Thank you," she would murmur to the soil, to the sunlight, to the very breath moving through her lungs. And something extraordinary happened. The flowers seemed to respond. Petals shimmered with an inner luminescence. Stems stood more vibrant, colors more radiant. This was no mere coincidence. Gratitude operates as a divine frequency, a resonant energy that communicates directly with the unseen currents of creation. When you acknowledge the gifts already present in your life, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Vernon Clyde Bishop understood this mystical principle intuitively. Each dawn, he would sit with a weathered journal, penning heartfelt letters of appreciation. "Thank you for this warm cup of coffee," he would write. "Thank you for the soft morning light. Thank you for the breath filling my lungs." What Vernon discovered was remarkable. As his gratitude deepened, so did the abundance flowing into his life. Opportunities emerged where before there seemed only obstacles. Connections blossomed. Prosperity wasn't something to be chased, but a natural result of recognizing the continuous love already surrounding him. Gratitude, you see, is the highest form of romantic communion with life itself. It is a language that makes the universe blush, that coaxes miracles from the invisible realm into tangible manifestation. When you genuinely appreciate what is, you create spaciousness for what could be. This is not about forced positivity or spiritual bypassing. True gratitude requires authenticity, a genuine recognition of the grace already present. It means seeing beauty in both light and shadow, understanding that every experience carries a seed of transformation. The divine does not require elaborate rituals or grandiose declarations. It responds to the tender whispers of a heart genuinely open, genuinely thankful. Practice by naming softly 3 things that already love you back and feeling divine warmth grow in your chest. Chapter 6. The Voice of the Divine Lover. You stand at the threshold of understanding, where the universe speaks in whispers and beauty becomes the language of divine communication. Ruby Nell Coleman once believed herself unworthy of celestial guidance, her heart locked away like a fragile manuscript hidden from sacred reading. But on one particular sunrise, something shifted. The golden light seemed to caress her spirit with a tenderness that dissolved every doubt. The divine does not shout its wisdom. It breathes its truth through the most delicate channels of experience. Like a lover who knows that true connection happens in soft moments, universal energy communicates through beauty so intimate it feels like a gentle touch against your soul. Each ray of light, each subtle breeze carries messages meant exclusively for you. Arlen Boyd Tucker discovered this sacred dialogue one moonlit evening when music became more than sound. Between the musical notes he heard guidance, not as words but as intuitive rhythms that seemed to pulse directly with his heartbeat. When he surrendered and followed these ethereal instructions, miracles began to unfold around him, like flower petals opening to morning light. Your connection to divine wisdom is not about grand revelations or thunderous pronouncements. It lives in the spaces between breaths, in the subtle sensations that drift through your awareness. Messages from the universe arrive wrapped in emotions, intuitive nudges, and moments of unexpected beauty. They are love letters written in the language of sensation, waiting for you to decode their tender meaning. Consider how the wind whispers through trees, how sunlight dances on water, how a single bird's song can transform an entire morning. These are not mere coincidences, but deliberate communications from a loving universe eager to guide you. Your job is not to analyze or overthink, but to listen, truly listen, with an open heart. When you allow beauty to speak, you create a sacred conversation with the unseen world. Every moment becomes an invitation, every sensation a potential message. The universe flirts with your awareness, sending signals of love and guidance through the most unexpected messengers. Practice by inviting beauty to speak to you. Watch clouds or hear birds as though heaven flirts gently with your awareness. Chapter 7. The Tender Art of Surrender. You are standing at the threshold of a profound transformation, where surrender becomes your most powerful ally. The universe whispers ancient wisdom through the stories of those who have learned to release their grip on control and trust in a higher orchestration. Consider Dixie Pearl Laird, a woman whose life was once a tapestry of constant worry and relentless planning. Her nights were filled with anxious thoughts, her days consumed by the desperate need to manage every detail. But on one extraordinary evening, something shifted within her. As moonlight spilled across her room, she uttered a simple yet revolutionary phrase, "I trust you." In that moment of complete surrender, something miraculous occurred. The tension that had gripped her body dissolved, and a wave of profound ease washed over her. This was not weakness, but the most potent form of strength, the strength to let go, to merge with the divine flow of existence. Surrender is not defeat, but a sacred dance of trust. Imagine two lovers breathing in perfect synchronization, their boundaries blending, their individual energies creating something far more magnificent together. This is how you connect with the divine, not by fighting, but by yielding. Marvin Gene Howard's story illuminates this principle beautifully. He had spent years pushing, plotting, and strategizing, believing that success could only be achieved through relentless effort. But when he finally relaxed his grip, when he stopped forcing his plans and instead opened himself to possibility, something remarkable happened. The perfect opportunity appeared, not through struggle, but through calm acceptance. The universe operates on a frequency of grace, not force. When you align yourself with this understanding, you discover that divine timing is not something to be conquered, but something to be received. Your most profound moments of breakthrough will often come not from intense striving, but from a state of relaxed faith. This is the sacred art of surrender, a practice that requires courage, trust, and a willingness to release your need for absolute control. It means acknowledging that there is a wisdom far greater than your individual perspective, an intelligence that weaves the intricate threads of existence with precision and love. Each time you choose to surrender, you are not giving up. You are opening yourself to guidance, to synchronicity, to the miraculous unfolding of life beyond your limited perception. Practice by visualizing, placing your burdens into golden light, sighing as they dissolve, and the space fills with gentle assurance. Chapter 8. The River of Emotion. In the gentle landscape of your inner world, emotions are not weaknesses to be hidden, but sacred rivers carrying divine communication. You have been taught to dam these rivers, to contain your feelings behind walls of stoicism and restraint. But the universe whispers a different truth, that your emotions are messengers, conduits of profound spiritual wisdom. Eleanor Beth Pritchard discovered this sacred understanding during a moment of profound vulnerability. For years, she had concealed her sadness, believing it a flaw to be conquered rather than a message to be heard. But on one transformative evening, she allowed herself to truly feel, to acknowledge the depth of her inner landscape without judgment. As tears began to flow, something remarkable occurred. Each droplet seemed to carry a story, a hidden language of the soul. Her sadness was not a burden, but a tender communication from the deepest parts of her spirit. In surrendering to her emotions, she realized they were not obstacles, but portals, gateways through which divine energy could speak. Nearby, Jasper Lee Robbins had experienced a similar awakening. One night, overwhelmed by emotions he had long suppressed, he wept without restraint. The tears came not from weakness, but from a profound inner release. As they flowed, a remarkable transformation unfolded. The very act of feeling completely opened channels within him, and a tranquility emerged, so pure, so holy, it felt like a direct communion with the divine. Your emotions are not random or meaningless. They are sacred signals, intricate communications from your soul's deepest wisdom. When you allow yourself to feel fully, whether it is grief, joy, anger, or love, you create a clear pathway for divine energy to move through you. Each emotion is a prayer in motion, a vibrational message that connects you to the greater rhythm of universal love. The spiritual journey is not about controlling your feelings, but about listening to them. Your emotions are like rivers, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, but always carrying essential messages. They flow through you, not to harm you, but to cleanse, to heal, to reveal. When you resist your emotions, you create internal barriers. But when you welcome them, when you sit with them without judgment, you become a clear vessel for divine guidance. Your feelings are not your enemy. They are your allies in spiritual growth. Practice by letting yourself feel honestly tonight, trusting every tear to water future blossoms of joy. Chapter 9. The Language of Light. You stand at the threshold of understanding how divine energy communicates through the most subtle of languages, light itself. The universe speaks not in thunderous declarations, but in whispers of luminescence, in gentle rays that dance across spaces, carrying messages beyond human vocabulary. Annie Ruth Foster discovered this sacred communication during her meditation practices. Her hands, guided by an unseen current, began sketching intricate patterns, lines intersecting like delicate threads of celestial poetry. Each stroke represented more than mere artistic expression. They were translations of light's silent language. When you observe light, you are witnessing the most pure form of divine dialogue. It travels immense distances, crosses boundaries without permission, illuminates without judgment. Light does not explain itself, it simply reveals. Just as sunlight penetrates through windows, touching surfaces and creating shadows, divine energy moves through your consciousness, revealing hidden truths. Clyde Don Lawson experienced this phenomenon one quiet morning. As he wrote in his journal about love's transformative power, a beam of sunlight suddenly stretched across the page, highlighting specific words. The light seemed to underscore, to emphasize, to confirm the very thoughts flowing from his pen. This was not coincidence, but alignment, the universe responding to his inner reflection. Light carries information beyond what your physical eyes can comprehend. It is a messenger, a translator of spiritual frequencies. When sunlight touches your skin, it is not merely warming you, it is communicating ancient wisdom, sending coded messages of connection and possibility. Your emotions are the receptors of this luminous language. When you open yourself to receive, you become a living antenna, translating light's subtle vibrations into understanding. The patterns Annie sketched, the words Clyde wrote, the warmth you feel, these are all dialects of the same cosmic conversation. The interpretation is clear. Creation itself talks in light. Every ray, every glimmer, every soft illumination is a word in the universe's continuous monologue. You are not separate from this communication. You are a participant, a co-creator in this ongoing dialogue. Practice by greeting morning rays as direct conversation, imagining warmth spelling encouragement across your skin. Chapter 10. The Bridge of Compassion. You stand at the threshold of understanding a profound universal truth. Compassion is the language that transcends all barriers, a luminous bridge connecting human hearts to the divine current. The story of Mabel Ann Willis whispers an ancient wisdom into your soul. That true connection happens not through grand gestures, but through the tender moments of genuine empathy. Mabel Ann worked as a hospice nurse, a profession that might seem heavy with sorrow to many, but for her it was a sacred calling. Each patient was not merely a body experiencing illness, but a soul on a transformative journey. When she held the hand of someone facing their final moments, she did not see weakness or suffering. Instead, she recognized the profound courage of a spirit preparing to transition, the quiet dignity of a life's narrative coming full circle. In those moments of pure compassion, something extraordinary occurred. The boundary between her own consciousness and the patient's seemed to dissolve. She would feel a warmth spreading through her chest, a radiant energy that felt neither hers nor the patient's, but something larger, a universal pulse of love that connected all living beings. Harold Troy Matthews discovered a similar awakening through his volunteer work at the local community center. Initially shy and withdrawn, he began helping elderly residents with small tasks, carrying groceries, reading books, sharing conversations. With each act of kindness, something within him shifted. The loneliness that had once wrapped around him like a cold cloak began to melt away. When he laughed with Mr. Johnson about a shared memory, or helped Mrs. Rodriguez water her plants, He wasn't just performing a task. He was participating in a sacred exchange, a divine choreography where giving and receiving became indistinguishable. The light of compassion does not deplete. It multiplies, creating ripples of connection that extend far beyond the immediate moment. The universal principle reveals itself quietly. Love circulates through giving. Like water flowing through a river, energy moves and transforms when it is shared freely. Your compassion is not a finite resource to be guarded, but an infinite wellspring that grows stronger with each offering. This is the language of light, not spoken in words, but transmitted through the gentle touch of understanding, through the willingness to see the divine in another. When you extend kindness, you become a conduit for something greater than yourself. Practice by offering genuine kindness today while silently saying, "We are the same light." Part 2. The Radiance of Union. Chapter 11. The Sacred Mirror. You stand before the great universal truth. Every person you encounter is a reflection of your inner landscape, a living, breathing mirror revealing the uncharted territories of your own soul. Edna May Reddick discovered this sacred wisdom not through intellectual pursuit, but through the gentle unfolding of self-awareness. As a small-town schoolteacher, Edna spent years noticing the traits that stirred her most deeply in others. The colleague whose perfectionism irritated her to no end mirrored her own hidden need for control. The student whose shyness triggered impatience reflected her own unacknowledged fear of being truly seen. Each reaction was a window, not into the other's soul, but into her own unexplored depths. One autumn morning, while watching her students interact, Edna realized that her emotional responses were never truly about them. They were invitations, divine whispers calling her towards self-understanding. The traits that provoked the strongest reactions within her were fragments of herself waiting to be acknowledged, accepted, and ultimately integrated. Walter Dean Garrison walked a similar path of inner transformation. A local businessman known for his intense drive, he had long battled with impatience. Rather than fighting this aspect of himself, he began to befriend it. Instead of viewing his impatience as a flaw, he recognized it as a passionate energy seeking constructive expression. Something remarkable happened. As Walter learned to embrace his own internal landscape with compassion, the world around him began to shift. Colleagues who once found him abrasive now described him as calm and centered. Meetings that previously felt like battlegrounds became spaces of collaborative understanding. The universal principle reveals itself with crystal clarity. Your external world is a reflection of your internal state. Every judgment, every trigger, every intense emotional response is a sacred message from your soul. These are not obstacles, but opportunities for profound self-discovery and healing. Love does not demand perfection. It invites acceptance. When you learn to look at yourself with the same tenderness you would offer a beloved child, something miraculous occurs. The harsh inner critic softens. The fragmented aspects of your being begin to integrate. You become a whole, harmonious expression of divine love. This is not about changing yourself, but about seeing yourself with radical compassion. Each trait you've labeled as negative holds within it a seed of transformation. Your impatience contains passion. Your fear holds protective wisdom. Your anger carries the energy of necessary boundaries. The mirror of the soul reflects not to criticize, but to illuminate. It shows you the infinite potential that resides within, waiting to be recognized and embraced. Practice by blessing your reflection tonight, whispering, "You are the face through which God smiles." Chapter 12. The Rhythm of Receiving. In the sacred dance of universal energy, you are both the dancer and the dance, the receiver and the gift. Your ability to accept love determines the flow of miracles through your life. Like a vessel waiting to be filled, your openness creates the very space where divine abundance takes shape. Hazel June Kinney understood this transformation through her own journey of softening. For years, she had prayed with fervent intensity, her words like urgent knocks on heaven's door. Yet her heart remained guarded, deflecting compliments and blessings as though they were uninvited guests. She would quickly minimize her achievements, respond to praise with self-deprecation, and push away genuine kindness. The universe whispers its wisdom through gentle experiences. When a colleague praised her innovative project, Hazel's automatic response was to minimize her contribution. "It was nothing," she would say, her hands pushing away the acknowledgement. But something within her was changing, a subtle shift emerging like dawn breaking through night. Slowly, she began to recognize that rejecting love was rejecting the very energy of creation. Each deflected compliment was a closed door to potential. Each minimized achievement was a dam blocking the river of universal flow. The divine feminine principle of receptivity, of graciously allowing, of accepting without resistance, was her true spiritual practice. Floyd Earl Monroe embodied this principle with remarkable simplicity. Each morning he would open his palms, imagining golden light flowing into his being. He did not chase or demand, but waited with quiet expectation. His finances began to align, unexpected opportunities emerged, and relationships deepened with an ease that surprised him. The spiritual law is clear. Acceptance completes manifestation. When you truly receive, you signal to the universe that you are ready. Your willingness becomes an invitation, your openness a welcome mat for abundance. Your heart is not a fortress to be defended, but a sanctuary to be opened. Every blessing you allow enters not just as an external gift, but as a confirmation of your inherent worth. Each yes you speak to life's offerings is a prayer more powerful than 1,000 pleading words. The practice is simple yet profound. Today, say yes sincerely to life's small gifts. When someone offers a kind word, receive it fully. When an unexpected moment of beauty appears, let it touch you without reservation. Train your energy to trust your readiness, to know that you are worthy of grace. Practice by saying yes sincerely to life's small gifts today, training energy to trust your readiness. Chapter 13. The Harmony of Desire. The Rhythm of Receiving. Divine Desire's Whisper. You stand at the threshold of your deepest longing, not as a beggar, but as a sacred receiver of life's most intimate messages. Your desires are not random whims or selfish impulses, but divine frequencies carefully crafted to guide you toward your most authentic expression. Emma Jo Talbot's journey illuminates this profound truth. For years she carried her dreams like hidden treasures, shrouded in guilt and uncertainty. She believed wanting more meant being ungrateful, that her aspirations were somehow a betrayal of the contentment she already possessed. But something within her, a gentle, persistent whisper, suggested another interpretation. Your desires are not separate from divine intelligence. They are divine intelligence speaking through you. Each longing is a love letter written in the language of your soul, carefully encoded with guidance, potential, and sacred purpose. When you honor these whispers, you open yourself to the most intimate dialogue with the universe. Consider how Dewey Neal Harmon transformed his life by listening to his creative yearnings. He did not dismiss his artistic dreams as impractical fantasies, but recognized them as sacred invitations. By treating his aspiration with reverence, he created space for miraculous unfolding. Doors that seemed permanently closed suddenly swung open, not through force, but through alignment. The universe speaks through your deepest wants. Your longing is not a sign of lack, but a celestial navigation system guiding you toward expansion. Each desire carries an energetic blueprint of potential, waiting for your conscious recognition and gentle cultivation. Imagine your aspirations as seeds of light, already containing their full flowering within them. They do not require struggle or desperate manipulation, but patient, loving acknowledgement. When you breathe life into your desires through acceptance and trust, you activate their transformative power. This is the sacred rhythm of receiving, listening without judgment, feeling without resistance, allowing without controlling. Your wants are not random. They are precise transmissions from your highest self, communicating exactly what needs to emerge through you. The divine does not withhold. It constantly offers. Your job is not to prove your worthiness, but to open yourself to the continuous flow of creative intelligence moving through you. Every desire carries within it the exact resources and pathways required for its manifestation. Practice by cherishing your current desires as love letters sent from heaven within you. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Flame of Intention. Your desires are not random whispers, but sacred signals from the universe, carefully woven into the fabric of your soul's journey. When you lean into them with pure intention, you transform from a passive observer to an active creator of your reality. Sadie Lou Morton understood this mystery intuitively. Each evening she would light a single candle, its flame a sentinel of her innermost yearnings. As warm light flickered across her journal chapters, she inscribed her intentions not as mere words, but as concentrated affection. Her writing became more than ink on paper. It became a magnetic portal through which divine energy could flow. The universe responds to authenticity, not volume. Leonard Ray Connor had discovered this truth when he began visualizing his goals with genuine emotion. He didn't just imagine success. He felt its texture, breathed its rhythm. And in response, synchronicities began appearing like gentle whispers, confirming that his inner landscape was actively communicating with the cosmic design. Your intentions are not wishful thinking, but focused spiritual energy. They are love letters written directly to the great mystery, sealed with the wax of your most sincere emotions. When you align your heart's truest frequency with your deepest desires, creation itself leans in to listen. The sacred art of intention is not about forcing outcomes. but about creating a resonant field where miracles can naturally emerge. Like a tuning fork vibrating at a precise frequency, your focused desire attracts experiences that harmonize with its essence. Practice by lighting an imaginary flame inside your heart and feeling purpose as steady heat beneath calm joy. Chapter 15. The Velvet Law of Attraction. You stand at the threshold of creation, where intention breathes life into possibility. The flame of your inner desire is not a weapon to conquer, but a gentle invitation to dance with the universe's most intimate energies. Frances Pearl Sexton discovered this sacred truth during a quiet autumn morning. Her past was littered with desperate attempts to force outcomes, to push and struggle against the current of life. But that day, something shifted. She learned that true manifestation whispers rather than shouts, caresses instead of demands. The universe, you must understand, responds to the tender frequency of your heart, not the frantic drumming of fear or the harsh demands of control. Imagine your intentions as a lover's soft touch, not a conquering warrior's sword. When you align with this gentle frequency, miracles do not fight their way to you. They float gracefully, drawn by the magnetic warmth of your inner calm. Elva Jean Adkins embodied this principle with remarkable grace. Where others saw obstacles, she cultivated joyful expectation. Her practice was not about forcing outcomes, but about creating an internal landscape so luminous that good fortune could not help but be attracted. She understood that need pushes away, while love pulls closer. Your intentions are living prayers, vibrating with the same energy that spins galaxies and opens flower petals. They are not commands to be executed, but invitations to be explored. When you set an intention from a place of genuine love, not desperation, you create a resonance that the universe cannot help but answer. This is not magical thinking, but the profound science of energy and attraction. Your emotions are the language through which the universe understands your deepest wishes. Worry speaks of lack, but joy speaks of abundance. Urgency suggests scarcity, while calm suggests trust. Practice by feeling beloved by existence itself, letting comfort replace urgency. Chapter 16. The Music of Vibration. In the gentle rhythm of existence, you are more than a mere observer. You are a conductor of cosmic melody. Just as Grace Ellen Corbett discovered, your inner vibration is not simply a personal experience, but a powerful instrument that orchestrates the universe's grand symphony. Imagine your emotions as musical notes, each feeling a distinct tone that resonates through the invisible fabric of reality. When you hum with joy, when you pulse with genuine gratitude, you are tuning your internal instrument to the frequency of manifestation. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your vibration. Samuel Boyd Turner understood this sacred principle. He recognized that emotions are not random occurrences, but deliberate frequencies we can intentionally adjust. By curating gratitude playlists that elevated his inner state, he discovered how to harmonize his internal world with external opportunities. Your emotional state is not a passive experience, but an active conversation with the divine. Each feeling you cultivate is a note played in the grand orchestra of creation. Anxiety becomes a discordant sound, while gratitude rings as a pure, resonant chord. The law of attraction responds not to your desperate pleas, but to the steady, confident melody of your inner landscape. When you feel disconnected, remember that harmony can be restored through the simplest of practices. A soft hum, a gentle melody whispered from your heart, can realign your entire energetic field. This is not mere sentiment, but a profound spiritual technology. Your vibration is your most potent tool of manifestation. It speaks a language more nuanced than words, more powerful than forceful intention. It is the velvet touch of creation, the subtle dance of energy that transforms possibility into reality. Practice by humming softly when anxious. Remembering harmony restores alignment. Chapter 17. The Radiance of Forgiveness. You carry within you an orchestra of vibrations, each emotion a note that resonates through the universe's grand symphony. Forgiveness is not merely an act, but a profound musical restoration, a healing frequency that rewrites the very melody of your existence. When Lila Beth Vaughn confronted the heavy stones of her past guilt, she discovered something miraculous. Self-forgiveness is the most potent healing instrument. Her tears were not weakness, but liquid light dissolving the rigid structures of self-judgment. As she released her internal burdens, something extraordinary happened. Her inner landscape transformed, becoming fluid and luminous. The universe listens intently to the music of your heart. Just as Russell Dale Benson experienced unexpected reconciliation by choosing forgiveness, you too can reset entire familial and personal narratives through the gentle power of compassionate understanding. Forgiveness is not about erasing what occurred, but about releasing the emotional charge that keeps you bound to past pain. Your vibration shifts the moment you choose liberation. Each time you forgive, yourself or another, you are essentially retuning your internal instrument. The notes of resentment, anger, and hurt dissolve, replaced by a more harmonious melody of acceptance and grace. Forgiveness is a divine reset button, returning you to a state of original innocence. It does not mean forgetting or condoning harmful actions, but rather freeing yourself from the energetic weight those experiences have carried. You become the alchemist, transforming pain into wisdom, wounds into understanding. The practice of forgiveness is sacred music, a prayer without words, a healing without touch. When you choose to forgive, you are performing a profound spiritual choreography, allowing love's river to flow unobstructed through the chambers of your heart. Practice by picturing those involved surrounded in rose light, murmuring, "We are free." Chapter 18. The Whisper of Guidance. In the soft light of early morning, you discover that divine guidance whispers through the most unexpected channels. Like Donnie Mae Collier, who once believed celestial communication was reserved for extraordinary souls, you are about to learn that the universe speaks constantly, if only you attune your inner listening. Imagine for a moment that every seemingly random occurrence carries a message, each coincidence a gentle tap on the shoulder from an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind. The divine does not reserve its communication for moments of grand revelation, but weaves its wisdom through the ordinary tapestry of daily life. Donnie Mae's journey began much like yours might, with skepticism transforming into wonder. She had long assumed that miraculous guidance was the privilege of saints and mystics, distant figures bathed in supernatural light. Yet as she moved through her everyday world, subtle signs began to emerge. An unexpected phone call, a chance encounter, a feeling that gently nudged her away from potential danger. These are not random occurrences, but the soft language of divine intelligence. When you learn to listen with your heart, not just your ears, the universe begins to converse with you in a dialect of synchronicity and subtle intuition. Consider Viola Fay Rogers, who developed a profound trust in these gentle nudges. Where logic might have led her into complicated scenarios, her intuitive listening guided her toward smoother paths. She understood that divine guidance rarely thunders. It whispers, it suggests, it illuminates with the subtlest of touches. Your own journey of recognition starts with a simple shift, believing that you are always supported, always guided, always loved. The signs are everywhere, in the unexpected smile from a stranger, in the book that falls from a shelf, in the sudden impulse that redirects your path. When you begin to view these moments not as coincidence but as conversation, something magical happens. The universe moves from being an indifferent landscape to a responsive, loving intelligence that is constantly communicating with your soul. Practice by acknowledging every helpful coincidence as direct guidance from loving intelligence. Chapter 19. The Golden Balance. In the gentle rhythm of existence, you discover that life's most profound lessons often whisper through the most unexpected moments. Your journey of understanding balance begins not with grand gestures, but with the subtle art of listening to your own inner harmony. Nancy Lee Cooper's story mirrors the universal dance of giving and receiving, a delicate choreography many souls struggle to master. For years, she oscillated between two extremes, pouring herself entirely into others' needs, then retreating into isolation, exhausted and depleted. This pattern was her unconscious protection, a misunderstood attempt to maintain self-preservation. The divine wisdom revealed to her that true balance is not about perfect calculation, but about flowing with an inner current of love. It is a state of being where your energy moves like a steady river, neither desperately flooding nor rigidly contained, but simply present and responsive. Your own path of balance begins with understanding that love is not a transaction, but a continuous breath. When you give, you do not deplete yourself. When you receive, you do not become dependent. Instead, you learn to move with a graceful equilibrium that honors both your needs and the needs of others. Ernie Carl Swanson's revelation came through embracing rest as a sacred practice. He discovered that productivity is not about constant motion, but about creating space for renewal. By honoring his natural rhythms, he found that his work became more inspired, more effortless. The universe speaks through such subtle teachings, showing you that balance is not a destination, but a continuous dance. It is a state of alignment where doing and being merge into a seamless expression of love. Your practice today invites you to experience this inner balance. Imagine a golden scale within your core, perfectly poised and glowing with gentle light. As you breathe, feel this scale moving with exquisite precision, neither tilting too far left nor right, but maintaining a perfect, luminous equilibrium. Let your breath be the rhythm that keeps this inner scale steady. Inhale peace, exhale surrender. With each breath, you align more deeply with the natural flow of divine energy, understanding that true balance is not about control, but about trust. Chapter 20. The Circle of Trust. In the quiet corners of her modest farmhouse kitchen, Myrtle Ann Hayes had wrestled with doubt like a persistent shadow. Years of struggle had etched lines of uncertainty across her weathered face, each crease a testament to silent questions about divine loyalty. She had watched other lives seem blessed while her own path wound through hardship's thorny landscape. But something was shifting. Small miracles began to whisper their presence, subtle at first, like sunlight filtering through worn curtains, revealing dust motes dancing with unexpected grace. An unexpected check arriving when bills seemed insurmountable. A neighbor's kindness appearing precisely when loneliness threatened to consume her. A health concern resolving without medical intervention. These moments were not coincidence, Myrtle realized. They were gentle nudges from an intelligence far more tender than her previous understanding of a distant, judgmental providence. The universe was not indifferent. It was intimately responsive. Calvin Hugh McPherson, a traveling preacher she'd once heard speak, had shared a transformative phrase that now echoed in her heart. Everything conspires kindly. Those words were not mere platitudes, but an active invocation, a sacred agreement with life's underlying benevolence. Myrtle began to experiment. Instead of bracing against challenges, she started witnessing them. She observed how each difficulty carried within it seeds of unexpected resolution. Her trust wasn't blind faith, but a cultivated awareness that love's intelligence moves in mysterious, supportive rhythms. The interpretation became crystal clear. Consistency in belief reshapes reality. Just as a river slowly carves granite, her repeated trust was etching new pathways of possibility. Her conviction was not about demanding outcomes, but about remaining open to life's intricate choreography. Each time something unexpectedly aligned, a sudden opportunity, a timely connection, a mysterious rescue, Myrtle's inner landscape softened. Her doubt transformed into a quiet, radiant knowing that she was fundamentally supported. The divine was not a distant concept, but a living, breathing relationship. Trust was its language, and she was learning to speak it fluently. Practice by thanking the unseen every time situations realign favorably, strengthening love's loop of confidence. Part 3. The Sacred Romance of Eternal Unity. Chapter 21. The Bride of Light Within. You stand at the threshold of a profound revelation, a journey into the sacred landscape of self-love that transcends mere acceptance and enters the realm of divine intimacy. Your inner world is not a battlefield of perfection and flaw, but a holy sanctuary where every fragment of your being carries the luminous imprint of creation. Tessie Ray Bowman understood this mystery long before most. She discovered that divine union was not an external conquest, but an inner marriage between human vulnerability and divine strength. Each scar, each doubt, each trembling moment of uncertainty was not something to be conquered, but welcomed, like a beloved guest arriving with sacred wisdom. When you truly love yourself, you recognize that your imperfections are not errors to be corrected, but unique brushstrokes in the masterpiece of your soul. Gordon Paul Trent embodied this truth, transforming his perceived weaknesses into portals of grace. Where once he saw brokenness, he now witnessed holy complexity. This is the profound teaching. Holiness resides in intimacy with yourself, not the polished, curated version you present to the world, but the raw, unvarnished essence that breathes beneath social masks. Your vulnerability is not weakness, but your most potent connection to divine intelligence. Imagine your heart as a temple, not a pristine, untouched sanctuary, but a living, breathing space where every emotion is honored. The shadows and light within you are not separate, but intricately woven threads of the same sacred fabric. Your pain carries wisdom. Your joy holds healing. Your uncertainty contains profound transformation. When you truly accept every dimension of your being, you create an internal environment of radical hospitality. You become a safe harbor for your own soul, welcoming each aspect of yourself with the same tenderness a mother offers her child. This is not narcissism, but the deepest form of spiritual practice. The universe does not require your perfection. It craves your authenticity. Each moment you whisper acceptance to yourself, you unlock hidden reservoirs of strength. You are not fixing yourself, but recognizing the divine intelligence that already resides within you. Your imperfections are not obstacles to love, but invitations to deeper understanding. They are the very landscape through which grace flows, transforming what you perceive as broken into bridges of profound connection. Practice by placing a hand over heart, whispering, "I accept every part of me as beloved." Chapter 22. The Rose of Presence. As you turn your attention inward, you begin to understand that the sacred moment is not a distant concept, but a living, breathing reality waiting to be experienced. The universe whispers its wisdom through the simplest of encounters, inviting you to step into a deeper awareness that transcends the ordinary. Faye Marie Bridges discovered this truth one tranquil morning when a single rose captured her entire being. It wasn't just a flower, but a portal to eternity. As she breathed in its delicate fragrance, time seemed to dissolve. Each moment became an infinite space of pure presence, a divine embrace that held her completely. The rose taught her something profound. True connection happens not through grand gestures, but through complete, unhurried attention. Each breath became a sacred communion, each sensation a conversation with the divine. The petals, soft and luminous, carried a message older than words, a reminder that life's most profound experiences exist in the spaces between thoughts. Similarly, Otis Glenn Dillard learned this art of sacred attention through his interactions, where once he would juggle multiple tasks, fragmenting his energy, he now practiced radical presence. During conversations, he would set aside all distractions, allowing his entire being to listen. In those moments of complete focus, a profound stillness would bloom, quiet yet vibrant, like a flower opening to the morning light. This is the gateway to eternity, not through escaping the present, but by diving deeply into it. Your awareness becomes a sacred vessel, collecting the nectar of each moment. The divine does not exist somewhere far away, but right here, in the breath you are taking now, in the subtle sensations that dance through your consciousness. The interpretation of this wisdom is simple yet transformative. Awareness is the ultimate portal to experiencing the timeless. When you fully inhabit the present, you step outside the constraints of linear time. You become a witness to the eternal dance of existence, where each moment is both fleeting and infinite. Your practice begins with gentleness. Sense the next moment as if you are holding a delicate rose, without hurry, without expectation. Feel its presence, its fragility, its beauty. Let your attention be soft yet complete, like a loving embrace that honors the sacred mystery of now. Chapter 23. The Crown of Humility. In the soft embrace of early morning light, you discover that true radiance emerges not from grand achievements, but from the gentle surrender of the heart. Addie Lou Prince understood this sacred truth intimately. Throughout her life, she had chased success with relentless determination, gathering accolades and accomplishments like precious stones. Yet something remained hollow, a whisper of emptiness that echoed beneath her polished exterior. The moment she learned to bow to grace, everything transformed. Bowing was not defeat, but a profound acknowledgement of a wisdom greater than her own limited understanding. Like a flower turning towards sunlight, Addie Lou's spirit opened when she released the need to control every outcome. Her transformation began quietly. Where once she had strategized and manipulated, she now listened. Where she once demanded, she now invited. The universe, which had seemed distant and indifferent, suddenly felt intimately present, a loving intelligence that responded to her softened approach. Claydon Rowe embodied this principle of humble service. At local shelters, he worked without fanfare, his hands gentle, his heart open. Those around him noticed something extraordinary, a luminous quality that seemed to radiate from within. Divine presence doesn't announce itself with trumpets, but whispers through acts of compassion. The lesson crystallizes. Humility is not self-diminishment, but profound openness. It is creating space within yourself for something greater to flow through. Like a clear vessel, when you empty yourself of ego's noise, you become a channel for grace. Your achievements matter, but how you carry them matters more. True power resides not in what you accumulate, but in your capacity to remain soft, receptive, and connected to the larger rhythm of existence. Practice by thanking life silently, for every breath knowing grandeur rests in gentleness. Chapter 24. The Temple of the Heart. You are more than a physical form. You are a living, breathing sanctuary where the divine eternally resides. Just as ancient temples were constructed with sacred geometry and reverent intention, your body is the most intricate temple ever designed, pulsing with the rhythm of universal love. When Lola May Rutledge first understood this truth, her perception of spirituality transformed. She realized that every external sacred site, be it a mountaintop monastery, a centuries-old cathedral, or a quiet forest grove, was merely a reflection of the holiest ground that existed within her own chest. The beating heart, she discovered, was not just an organ pumping blood, but a living altar where divine energy worshipped itself through each breath. Consider how Everett Neil Dunham navigated life's turbulent waters. When challenges arose, moments that might have previously triggered anxiety or despair, he would gently place his hand over his heart. In that simple gesture of connection, calm would cascade through him like a silent river, restoring balance and reminding him of the sanctuary within. The body is not separate from spirit, but the very vessel through which spirit expresses itself. Each breath is a prayer, each heartbeat a hymn of cosmic connection. Your ribcage is not merely a protective cage of bones, but a sanctuary where divine energy dwells, waiting to be acknowledged and honored. The interpretation is clear. True devotion does not require grand rituals or distant pilgrimages. It resides right here, inside the intimate temple of your own being. When you breathe consciously, when you listen to the steady rhythm of your heart, you are performing the most sacred ceremony possible. communion with the divine essence that breathes you into existence. Practice by breathing reverently, imagining pearl light expanding from your heart temple through space. Chapter 25. The Wings of Prayer. In the sacred sanctuary of your inner temple, you are learning that prayer is not a desperate cry, but a tender conversation with the divine. Susie Jane Horton discovered this profound truth when she ceased begging the universe for mercy and instead began to sing gratitude's sweet melody. Once, her prayers were trembling whispers of fear, pleas wrapped in anxiety, hoping to ward off potential suffering. She would clutch her hands tightly, listing all the things she did not want to happen, her energy contracted and small. But something shifted when she realized that true communication with the divine is not about control, but about trust. Slowly, Susie began to transform her approach. Instead of listing her fears, she started naming her blessings. She noticed the warmth of sunlight, the kindness of strangers, the rhythm of her own breathing. Her prayers became less about demanding and more about celebrating, less about protection and more about connection. Edgar Floyd Brewer understood this sacred art of prayer even more deeply. He would sit in quiet moments, not asking for specific outcomes, but praising the intricate beauty of existence. His prayers were like gentle songs of appreciation, recognizing that the universe moves with intelligence far beyond human understanding. When Edgar prayed, he did not fixate on precise results. Instead, he trusted that whatever unfolded would carry its own perfect rhythm. Sometimes his dreams manifested exactly as he imagined, and sometimes they arrived in unexpected packages, but always they carried the essence of what his heart truly needed. This is the mystical dance of prayer, not a transaction, but a dialogue between lovers. You are not a beggar approaching a distant deity, but a beloved child of the universe, communicating with the very energy that breathes you into existence. Each breath is a prayer, each moment an opportunity to align with the divine current that flows through all things. The core teaching reveals that true prayer is not about changing external circumstances, but about attuning your inner frequency to love's eternal wavelength. It is a loving flight, lifting you above the narrow perspectives of fear and limitation, allowing you to see the grand tapestry of which you are a precious thread. Your prayers are not demands, but declarations of unity. They are not about convincing a distant power, but about remembering your intrinsic connection to that power. When you pray with gratitude, you become a clear channel, allowing divine intelligence to move through you with grace and wisdom. Practice by expressing thanks for outcomes unseen, as if wings already lifted you there. Chapter 26. The Vision of Unity. In the vast tapestry of human consciousness, you are a thread of light, interconnected with every other luminous strand. Ruth Alma Baker understood this profound truth not as an abstract concept, but as a living, breathing reality. She saw humanity not as separate individuals, but as a magnificent constellation of souls, each person glowing like a candle in the infinite darkness, their individual flames merging into a radiant network of divine intelligence. When Ruth gazed upon the world, she did not see boundaries or divisions. Instead, she perceived the underlying current of love that flowed through all beings, connecting every heart with an invisible yet unbreakable thread. This unity consciousness was not a distant ideal, but a tangible experience of oneness that dissolved the illusions of separation. Her friend, Sheldon Troy Gray, embodied this principle through a remarkable practice. Where others might consume news with fear and anxiety, he chose to approach each story with conscious blessing. When reports of conflict or suffering emerged, he would pause and send waves of compassionate intention, imagining light transforming the energy of discord into harmony. The remarkable revelation was how this simple act of conscious awareness began to shift the very fabric of collective experience. Sheldon noticed subtle changes, a softening in conversations, unexpected moments of connection, a sense of underlying peace that seemed to ripple outward from his intentional blessings. The interpretation of this practice was profound. Awareness itself carries healing potential. Each thought, each intention, each moment of conscious love has the power to touch the collective consciousness. You are not separate from the world's pain or joy, but an integral part of its ongoing transformation. This understanding invites you to recognize your role in the grand symphony of human experience. Your consciousness is not confined to your individual self, but extends far beyond, touching and influencing realms you might never directly perceive. Practice by holding Earth in your imagination, radiant with golden compassion tonight. Chapter 27. The Secret of Joy. You stand at the threshold of a profound revelation, where joy becomes not merely an emotion, but a sacred transmission of divine energy. Minnie Pearl Dalton's journey illuminates a transformative truth. Joy does not require external permission or validation. It is a spontaneous eruption of spirit, a radiant frequency that flows when you release the constraints of circumstance. Imagine joy as a luminous current running through the unseen channels of existence, waiting for your recognition. When Minnie discovered that happiness was not dependent on perfect conditions, but was instead a choice of perception, her entire world shifted. She began to understand that joy was not something to be earned, but a natural state of being, the very signature of divine presence. Francis Boyd Sears embodied this wisdom through his daily gratitude sessions. Each morning, he would dedicate time to laughter, not as a response to external humor, but as a deliberate cultivation of inner lightness. His practice was revolutionary. He chose to laugh with genuine appreciation, regardless of his immediate circumstances. This seemingly simple act became a powerful alchemical process, transforming his health, relationships, and fortune. The universe responds to your vibration, and joy is the highest form of energetic communication. When you laugh from a place of pure appreciation, you send a signal to the cosmic orchestra that you are in harmony with life's beautiful, unpredictable symphony. Your joy becomes a magnet, drawing synchronicities, opportunities, and unexpected blessings. This is not about forced positivity or denial of challenges. True joy acknowledges life's complexity while choosing to resonate with its inherent wonder. It is a courageous act of spiritual rebellion, a declaration that you are more than your struggles, more than your past, more than the limitations others might impose. Your laughter can be soft, a gentle ripple of appreciation. It can be a quiet chuckle of recognition, an acknowledgement of life's beautiful ironies. It need not be loud or performative. The key is authenticity, allowing genuine delight to bubble up from your core. As you cultivate this joy, you become a beacon, Your inner light begins to soften the atmosphere around you, creating a field of possibility where miracles can gestate and bloom. You are not just experiencing joy, you are broadcasting it, inviting others into this sacred frequency of divine connection. Practice by inviting laughter even quietly until atmosphere softens around you. Chapter 28. The Song of Divine Romance. The secret of joy continues to unfold, revealing itself not as a distant achievement, but as the very breath of existence itself. You are being courted by life's most tender melody, a symphony of grace that plays through every moment of your experience. Carrie Beth Freeman understood this divine romance in a way few dare to embrace. On a night when moonlight draped the landscape like a luminous silk scarf, she began to sing, not to an audience, not for performance, but as a pure expression of her soul's conversation with the universe. Her voice rose softly, a gentle invocation that seemed to dance with the celestial light. And then something magical occurred. As her song reached into the night, the winds responded, not with thunderous affirmation, but with a warm, tender caress that felt like a loving acknowledgement. The breeze wrapped around her, carrying the subtle fragrance of jasmine and possibility, confirming what her heart already knew, that divine energy listens always. Glenn Dale Perry had discovered a similar truth in his own journey. He had learned to see beauty not as something rare or distant, but as a constant companion. Every leaf, every passing cloud, every stranger's smile became a testament to the universe's profound affection. He walked through life with an awareness that everything, absolutely everything, was a love letter waiting to be read. The interpretation of such experiences transcends mere coincidence. It reveals the universe as an affectionate partner, constantly seeking connection, always whispering love through the most unexpected channels. Joy, in its purest form, is not something you chase or acquire. It is a recognition, a remembering that you are already embraced by an intelligence far more tender and comprehensive than human understanding can fully comprehend. When you align with this understanding, miracles begin to feel natural. Synchronicities become your language. Beauty transforms from something you observe to something you are in continuous dialogue with. Your very existence becomes a celebration, a dance of divine energy moving through human form. The practice beckons you to dedicate tonight's breeze to your invisible beloved, whispering, "Thank you for this dance." Close your eyes. Feel the air moving around you. Let gratitude rise from your heart like a silent song, acknowledging the endless romance of existence that breathes you into being. Chapter 29. The Light Beyond Form. In the gentle twilight of understanding, you stand at the threshold of a profound revelation. The journey through divine experience is not about collecting moments of transcendence, but about recognizing the vast, boundless awareness that witnesses all experiences. Nettie Jo Harmon's path illuminated a deeper truth. Every spiritual encounter, every mystical sensation, every moment of connection serves as a signpost pointing beyond itself. These experiences are not the destination, but gentle invitations to recognize something more fundamental, the pure, unbroken awareness that underlies all perception. When you stop chasing experiences and instead rest in the fundamental nature of consciousness, something extraordinary happens. The boundaries between inner and outer, between self and universe, begin to shimmer and dissolve. Like Luther Ray Bowers discovered during his deep meditations, there exists a state of borderless calm so profound that it makes physical sensations seem like passing whispers. This awareness is not something you achieve. It is something you recognize. It is always present, like the sky that remains unchanged while clouds drift across its infinite expanse. Your true nature is this sky, vast, unchanging, and luminous. Experiences are merely clouds passing through, momentary and transient, while you remain the infinite space of pure consciousness. In this understanding, spirit reveals itself not as a distant concept, but as the very substance of existence itself. It is the unlimited space loving its own infinite potential, experiencing itself through the miracle of perception. You are not separate from this divine intelligence. You are its living expression. The teachings remind you that transcendence is not about escaping your human experience, but about recognizing the profound depth within every moment. Each breath, each sensation, each thought is a gateway to this boundless awareness. As you sit in quiet contemplation, allow yourself to rest in this knowing. You are not the thoughts that flutter through your mind, not the emotions that rise and fall, not the body that moves through space. You are the vast, serene awareness that observes all of these with compassionate neutrality. Practice by resting in quiet, knowing. You are the sky, not the passing cloud. Chapter 30. Eternal Beloved Awakened. You stand at the threshold of ultimate understanding, where the boundary between self and universe dissolves like mist in morning light. Vera Lee Sanders discovered what mystics have whispered through centuries, that divine energy is not something external to be sought, but the very breath animating your existence. Her revelation came not through grand gestures, but in a moment of sublime simplicity. As she sat quietly, watching sunlight dance across her living room floor, she suddenly comprehended that she was not experiencing life, but life was experiencing itself through her. Every breath, every heartbeat, every subtle movement was the universe expressing its infinite creativity. Henry Paul Waller's experience mirrored this awakening. During a moment of profound meditation, he felt tears streaming down his cheeks, not from sorrow or joy, but from a recognition so vast it transcended emotion. Language became inadequate, words dissolved, and what remained was pure, unbounded awareness. In that instant, he understood that separation was an illusion and unity was the fundamental truth of existence. The core teaching crystallizes around this revolutionary insight. Enlightenment is not a destination, but a continuous, intimate romance between consciousness and itself. You are not a separate entity seeking connection. You are connection itself. The divine is not something to be discovered, but the very essence through which discovery happens. This understanding transforms everything. Your struggles, your hopes, your fears, all are waves in the infinite ocean of consciousness. Each experience is the universe exploring itself through the unique lens of your perception. There is no true separation, only the beautiful play of energy experiencing its own magnificent potential. When you truly embrace this perspective, miracles become ordinary. Synchronicities flow naturally. Peace becomes your default state, not because you've conquered challenges, but because you recognize the challenges themselves as part of the divine dance. The interpretation of this profound truth is simple yet revolutionary. Enlightenment is a perpetual love story where the lover and the beloved are one and the same. It is an endless reunion, a continuous remembering of your true nature. Practice by greeting each sunrise, whispering, "You and I are the same eternal flame." Part 4. The Blossoming of Celestial Love. Chapter 31. The Promise of Morning. You awaken to a profound truth that has danced just beyond consciousness, waiting to be recognized. Each sunrise is not merely a mechanical progression of time, but a sacred renewal, a divine love letter written in golden light across the sky of your being. The universe does not simply pass through moments. It romances you with each breath, each heartbeat, each gentle illumination. Nora Faye Duncan understood this mystery in a way that transformed her entire perception. As dawn's first whispers painted her bedroom in soft amber hues, she realized that every sunrise was a personal covenant between her soul and the infinite. It was not just light emerging, but a declaration of divine affection, a gentle reminder that you are continuously held, continuously loved. Leonard Joe Harmon discovered a similar revelation. Instead of treating mornings as mundane transitions, he began greeting the horizon with profound gratitude. He would stand at his window, palms open, heart receptive, and whisper thanks to the emerging light. His mornings became portals of enchantment, each day unfolding like a love story choreographed by unseen hands. The interpretation of this wisdom runs deeper than mere optimism. It speaks to the fundamental rhythm of existence, that faithfulness is woven into the very fabric of creation. Just as the sun rises without fail, without effort, without questioning its purpose, so too does divine love sustain you. Your breath continues, your heart beats, the earth turns, all evidence of an uninterrupted romance between spirit and matter. This covenant is not about perfection but presence. It does not demand that you be flawless, but simply that you be willing to receive, willing to trust, willing to recognize that each moment is an invitation to deeper communion with the living, breathing intelligence that animates all of existence. Your mornings are not just beginnings, but continuations, threads in an eternal tapestry of connection. When you greet the day with reverence, you align yourself with the cosmic dance of renewal. You become a conscious participant in the universe's ongoing love song. This is not metaphor, but direct experience. Each dawn carries the potential of complete restoration, of radical newness. The light does not judge your previous day's struggles or celebrate your previous day's achievements. It simply arrives, pure and uncontaminated, offering itself completely. Leonard Joe's practice of gratitude kisses to the horizon revealed something profound. When you approach life with wonder instead of expectation, magic becomes your companion. Enchantment is not something that happens to you, but something you co-create through your willingness to be amazed. Practice by opening curtains tomorrow, whispering, "Beloved day, I welcome your promise." Feeling devotion hover in the glow. Chapter 32. The Chalice of Peace. You stand at the threshold of understanding that peace is not a destination to be conquered, but a living presence to be welcomed. Like Edith Marie Kramer, who once wrestled with anxiety as though it were an untamable beast, you are learning that tranquility flows when you remove the barriers of resistance. Imagine peace as a luminous liquid, more delicate than the finest wine, waiting to be received. It does not force its way into your experience. Instead, it seeks the openness of your inner vessel. Your tension, your tightly held fears and expectations are like a cup turned upside down, preventing the very nourishment you desperately seek. Roland Dean Butler discovered this truth in the most unexpected arena, his workplace. Where others saw conflict, he learned to see an invitation to embody calm. His colleagues would marvel at how tensions seemed to dissolve around him, not through aggressive management, but through a quiet, centered presence that radiated understanding. The divine understands your human struggles. Peace is not the absence of challenge, but the profound acceptance that exists beyond circumstance. It is a sacred intimacy, a whispered conversation between your soul and the universal breath that sustains all creation. When you truly listen, you hear that peace is not something you achieve, but something you allow. Each moment offers you this choice: to contract against life's currents or to open, to trust that the energy flowing through you knows precisely how to restore balance. Your breath becomes the bridge, your awareness the welcome mat for tranquility. In the landscape of your inner world, peace is not a distant mountain to climb, but the very ground beneath your feet. It has always been here, waiting for you to recognize its constant presence. Like a gentle lover, it does not demand. It simply invites. Roland's transformation emerged not from controlling external events, but from an internal shift, a decision to trust that beneath the surface of apparent chaos, a deeper harmony always exists. His workplace became a testament to the power of inner stillness, showing that when one person anchors themselves in peace, the environment around them begins to resonate with that same frequency. The interpretation is clear. To accept peace is to love the divine principle that orchestrates all of existence. It is an act of profound trust, a surrender that paradoxically gives you more strength than any struggle ever could. Practice by inhaling slowly, imagining light filling your chest as if sipping peace from sacred chalice. Chapter 33. The Golden Breath of Creation. You are more than the physical form that moves through the world. You are a living, breathing prayer, a sacred instrument through which the universe expresses its most intimate conversations. Cora Belle Fenton understood this profound truth long before modern spiritual teachings gave language to her wisdom. Her sighs were not mere exhalations, but carefully crafted prayers that danced between the physical and the ethereal. Breath is the bridge between your human experience and the infinite intelligence that courses through all of creation. Each inhale is an invitation, each exhale a release. When Emmett Roy Goodson learned to slow his breathing before making decisions, he discovered something remarkable. Intuition speaks most clearly in the spaces between breaths. Imagine your breath as a gentle courier, carrying messages between your deepest self and the divine orchestrator of existence. It is not just air moving in and out of your lungs, but a continuous dialogue of love, of understanding, of profound connection. Every breath is a sacred communication, a whispered conversation that transcends words. When you breathe with intention, you align yourself with the rhythmic pulse of universal energy. Your body becomes a living instrument, playing the most delicate and intricate melody of existence. The breath moves through you like a soft wind through an ancient forest, carrying wisdom older than time itself. Think of your breath as the most intimate connection to the divine, more personal than any prayer, more immediate than any meditation. It is happening right now, in this very moment. The air that fills your lungs has traveled through countless transformations, touched countless lives, and now it moves through you, carrying the essence of all that is. Emmett Roy Goodson discovered that when he slowed his breath, the world around him seemed to slow as well. Decisions became less about frantic thinking and more about feeling, an intuitive guidance that piloted him gently through life's complexities. His breath became a compass, pointing always toward his truest path. The interpretation is clear. Your breath is not just a biological function, but a constant divine dialogue. It is the universe breathing through you, speaking to you, guiding you with each rise and fall of your chest. In moments of challenge, in times of joy, in the quiet spaces between heartbeats, your breath remains a faithful messenger of divine love. Practice by exhaling today, knowing each breath is God's tender signature within you. Chapter 34. The Secret Door of Devotion. Your breath is the sacred instrument through which divine energy flows, a golden thread connecting your inner landscape with the vast, luminous universe. In the quiet moments between inhaling and exhaling, miracles whisper their secrets. Jessie Lou Merritt understood this profound truth long before she could explain it. Where others sought complex spiritual practices, she discovered that simple, tender affection toward the divine presence created more transformative energy than any elaborate ritual. Her approach was not about grand gestures or intricate ceremonies, but about maintaining a constant, gentle conversation with the unseen. Each morning, she would stand by her kitchen window, sunlight filtering through worn curtains, and simply breathe with intention. Her devotion was not a demanding prayer, but a soft, continuous declaration of love. "I love you," she would murmur to the silence, to the light, to the very air surrounding her. The teaching that emerged from her experience emphasized devotion not as a technique, but as the heart's pure willingness to remain in love beyond logical understanding. It was an unconditional embrace, a surrender that required no explanation, no proof, no elaborate justification. Milton Earl Parks had discovered a similar approach. Whenever fear crept into his thoughts, those shadowy whispers of doubt and anxiety, he would respond with a gentle, unwavering, "I love you," not as a command, not as a plea, but as a pure expression of connection. Gradually, those fearful thoughts would dissolve, unable to withstand such tender, consistent love. The interpretation of such practices reveals devotion as a steady, unflickering flame. It does not demand validation or seek external confirmation. Instead, it burns quietly, consistently, transforming everything it touches with its gentle, persistent warmth. This is not about forcing love or manufacturing artificial emotions. It is about recognizing the love that already exists, the divine current that flows through every breath, every moment, every cell of your being. When you align with this current, miracles do not become extraordinary events. They become the natural expression of your existence. Your willingness to love without condition, to embrace the moment without resistance, creates a spaciousness in which magic can unfold. Each breath becomes a prayer, each heartbeat a sacred rhythm connecting you to the infinite. Practice by softly repeating love to existence itself until warmth curls like incense through your calm. Chapter 35. The Eternal Garden Within. In the sacred landscape of your inner world, imagination is not mere fantasy, but the living, breathing terrain where reality takes root. You are a gardener of consciousness, tending to the most intimate and powerful ecosystem, the garden of your heart. Pearl May Drury understood this truth in a way few others comprehended. During her meditation, she would close her eyes and enter a vivid inner sanctuary where emotions bloomed like living flowers. Each thought, each feeling became a seed, each breath a gentle rain nurturing the landscape of her inner vision. When she felt joy, delicate roses would unfurl their petals, radiant and full. Moments of compassion sprouted lavender, its soft purple hues swaying with tender resilience. Waves of gratitude would manifest as golden sunflowers, their faces turned toward an unseen light of divine warmth. Her moods were not just fleeting experiences, but living botanical expressions, transforming the invisible realm of consciousness into a tangible garden of manifestation. The lesson emerging from her practice was profound. Imagination is not an escape from reality, but the very womb where reality is conceived. Every thought you nurture, every emotion you cultivate, becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of universal creation. Your inner landscape is not separate from the world around you. It is the blueprint, the energetic template from which your external experience grows. Curtis Glenn Phelps approached this understanding with the precision of a master gardener. He did not merely hope or wish, he cultivated. Positive visualization was not a passive daydream, but an active practice of inner agriculture. He would spend time each day meticulously tending his mental garden, pruning negative thoughts, fertilizing dreams with focused emotion, and irrigating his vision with consistent belief. The result was miraculous, yet systematic. As he cared for his inner landscape, abundance began to reflect his inner cultivation. Opportunities sprouted where before there had been only dry ground. Connections blossomed like unexpected flowers. Prosperity grew not from external manipulation, but from the rich, nurtured soil of his imagination. The interpretation of such practices recognizes a fundamental truth. Your inner world is the source code of your external experience. What you cultivate internally will inevitably manifest externally. This is not mystical speculation, but the fundamental law of consciousness. You are always growing something, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your imagination is a sacred ground where divine energy collaborates with your intentions. Every thought is a seed, every emotion its water, every belief its sunlight. You are not a passive recipient of life, but an active co-creator, constantly sculpting reality through the landscape of your inner vision. Practice by closing your eyes, envisioning your heart soil blooming vivid kindness, blossoms with every breath. Chapter 36. The Reunion of Heaven and Earth. You stand at the window, watching raindrops cascade like liquid prayers, each droplet a testament to the sacred dance between heaven and earth. Just as Mattie Jo Benson discovered, every moment holds the potential for divine communion, even in the most ordinary of experiences. The rain reminds you that spirit and matter are not separate but intimately interwoven. Each droplet carries the memory of oceans, clouds, rivers, a journey of transformation that mirrors your own spiritual path. The boundary between the sacred and the mundane is an illusion, a veil waiting to be lifted by your awareness. Consider Franklin Hugh Boyd, who transformed the simple act of washing dishes into a sacred ritual. When he blessed the water, feeling its coolness and watching soap bubbles catch light, he recognized that holiness saturates every moment. Your daily routines are not distractions from spiritual life, but the very canvas upon which divine love paints its masterpiece. Every chore, every breath, every mundane movement can become a prayer. The way you fold laundry, sweep the floor, or prepare a meal, these are not separate from your spiritual journey. They are your spiritual journey. The universe speaks through your hands, through the rhythmic motion of your work, through the intention you bring to each moment. Imagine infusing your actions with reverence. When you wash a dish, feel the water's blessing. When you fold clothes, acknowledge the hands that crafted the fabric. When you prepare a meal, recognize the interconnected journey of seed, soil, farmer, and your own nourishment. The divine is not distant or reserved for special moments. It pulses through your everyday existence, waiting for you to notice, to honor, to celebrate. Your life is a continuous ceremony, an ongoing conversation between the seen and unseen worlds. Practice by turning one routine task into sacred ceremony, whispering thank you to both heaven and earth. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Every heartbeat that has read these words now hums a little closer to the eternal melody of love. Divine energy is no longer a distant power or elusive mystery. It is the tender beloved that found you precisely when your soul whispered readiness. The teachings and stories within these chapters were never separate lessons but facets of one diamond. The remembrance that God and you are partners in creation. Each narrative, from Lula Jane Bennett's library discovery to Vera Lee Sanders's profound awakening, has been a gentle invitation to recognize the divine intimacy already residing within you. To live from this awareness is to participate in heaven with open eyes, finding holiness in laughter, kindness, stillness, and even breath. You have walked through landscapes of spiritual discovery, traversing the inner territories of surrender, gratitude, and compassion. Each character's journey, Nora June Abbott's grateful gardening, Clara Rose Whitaker's bold steps of faith, Ruby Nell Coleman's tender listening, has been a mirror reflecting your own potential for transformation. You have become what you sought, the luminous thread weaving divinity through ordinary moments. The universe has been whispering your name in every coincidence, every soft nudge of intuition, every breath of synchronicity. Your heart now understands that love is not something to be chased, but a state of being to be remembered. Keep listening, keep loving, keep glowing. The romance continues forever inside the pulse of the divine that now calls your name in every heartbeat of existence.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.